Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to Malaysia-Taiwan Halal Industry Cooperation Forum, organized by Bureau of Foreign Trade, MOEA, and Taiwan External Trade Development Council, co-organized by Halal Development Corporation, Berhad. Today, we are very honored to have Ms. Cynthia Jiang, Director General of Bureau of Foreign Trade, to give us her opening remarks. Please welcome Director General Jiang.
Ms. Leonard Lin, President and CEO of TAITRA, Mr. Haira Arifi Sahari, CEO of Halal Development Corporation, distinguished guests who are joining us online, greetings. Welcome to the Malaysia-Taiwan Halal Industry Cooperation Forum. It's a great honor to be here on behalf of Bureau of Foreign Trade. I would like to give special thanks to Taiwan Halal Center and Halal Development Corporation for making this forum possible despite of the pandemic. For today's forum is to help Taiwanese businesses understand trends in Malaysia's halal market and the applications of HDC halal raw materials database. Also, we want to show our Malaysian friends how to leverage on Taiwan's high-tech advantages, namely technology cloud, food traceability, to ensure the safety of halal food and increase added value. Taiwan is an open and diverse society. We have a Muslim population of about 600,000 and over 200,000 Muslim students, migrant workers, and tourists. Starting from 2016, Taiwan has been promoting the new southbound policy. One of the important tasks is to facilitate the trade of halal products and create a Muslim-friendly environment in Taiwan so we can be more familiar with the Muslim world. Thus, in 2017, we founded a Taiwan Halal Center. Public and private sectors joined forces to promote the halal industry. Aside from building an information platform for the halal market, we also help businesses understand halal accreditation requirements so they can expand overseas halal markets. In particular, we pay extra attention to the promotion of cooperation with the Malaysia government and halal industry. For instance, in January this year, we worked with JAKIM to hold an online seminar on halal certification accreditation to help Taiwanese businesses to get JAKIM accreditation. After a few years' hard work, the level of our environment's Muslim friendliness has greatly improved. In 2019, MasterCard published the Global Muslim Travel Index. Taiwan was very fortunate to rank as number 3 destination among non-Muslim countries. Taiwan and Malaysia can be complementary to each other. For example, Malaysia has a well-developed halal food industry. Taiwan has a food machinery industry that offers high value for money. I recommend that Malaysia businesses to make full use of MIT filling machines, pastry or noodles making machines to increase production efficiency. Moreover, Taiwan values system integration and smart manufacturing. We can work with Malaysia to promote Industry 4.0 to enhance the automation and intelligent development of the halal industry. Many of you are from the food industry. I would like to specifically recommend for those of you who want to buy halal food and packaging machines, you can take part in the Food Packaging Machine Day in August. In recent years, through regular official contacts, Taiwan and Malaysia have promoted various cooperation programs. Faced with the challenges in a post-pandemic era, we can have more comprehensive cooperation on global supply chain, electronic commerce, industrial cooperation, and halal development. I look forward to see Taiwan Halal Center and Halal Development Corporation sign an MOU as soon as possible to deepen our cooperation. In closing, I believe that through this series of cooperation and the organization of this forum, we can help Taiwanese and Malaysian businesses expand in the global halal market. Let's work together to achieve that. I wish you all a prosperous business and the best of health. Thank you.
Thank you, Director General Jiang. And now I would please like to invite Ms. Leonor Fang Miao Lin, President and CEO of Taiwan External Trade Development Council, TAITRA, to say a few words to us. Welcome, President Lin.
Director General Jiang, Bureau of Foreign Trade, Mr. Haro Arifi Sahari, CEO of Halal Development Corporation, business leaders in Taiwan, and the online audience in Malaysia, greetings to you all. Welcome to the online Malaysia-Taiwan Halal Industry Cooperation Forum. During the COVID-19 pandemic, in order to facilitate cooperation between Taiwan and Malaysia on the halal industry, Taiwan Halal Center on the Bureau of Foreign Trade and TAITRA are joining hands with Malaysia's HDC to host this event. During the pandemic, global economy has declined. Through the sharing of first-hand information on the halal market in Malaysia, we hope to help Taiwanese businesses to understand the changes to the market and discover more halal opportunities. As we welcome more and more Muslim tourists to Taiwan in recent years, the government is starting to focus on the booming Muslim economy. Also, with the promotion of a new southbound policy, in April 2017, Taiwan Halal Center was founded by TAITRA with the support from Bureau of Foreign Trade. It assists Taiwanese businesses to sell their products to international Muslim markets. Through our effort, we already have 1,088 companies and hospitality venues who have received certification for halal products and Muslim-friendly environment. Their products include food and beverage, cosmetic, personal care products. In addition to the certified halal food and hotels, according to 2019 Global Muslim Travel Index released by Crescent Rating MasterCard, Taiwan ranked number 3 as an attractive destination among non-OIC countries, sharing the same place with the UK. Taiwan Halal Center not only provides guidance to help companies receive halal accreditation, it also plans different series of promotional activities. For the key markets based on the new southbound policy, it uses diversified channels to help companies export to Muslim markets. Through the assistance of TAITRA, we also match buyers from various countries and actively explore global halal markets with Taiwanese businesses. For instance, in 2018, Taiwan invited for the first time Maideen, Malaysia's largest halal retail chain, to source in Taiwan. Over 30 products entered Malaysia's distribution channels. In addition, we organized Halal Taiwan exhibition for 2 consecutive years to increase the visibility of MIT halal products in overseas markets. Aside from Malaysia, in 2019, we participated in the Brunei Halal Showcase and connected with Hua Ho department store in Brunei. We successfully introduced several dozens of MIT products. They became sought-after items in the market. Considering the stellar sales last year, Hua Ho department store increased the product items and amount of their procurement this year. Due to the pandemic, most promotional activities are online procurement meetings and virtual exhibitions. For the second half of 2021, we're planning a Halal Taiwan Week to promote the halal export of Taiwan and to attract more opportunities from the Muslim markets. For new southbound, Middle East, and African regions, we have cross-market online promotional activities. To further develop emerging markets in Africa, we will join Halal Expo Nigeria from September 14 to 16 to introduce MIT quality halal products. We hope to increase the brand awareness of MIT halal products in foreign markets. For today's forum, we will recommend Malaysia's Halal Integration Platform to Taiwanese businesses who already are or interested in becoming halal suppliers. We hope that through the platform, companies can obtain information on global suppliers of halal ingredients. Of course, they can also promote MIT halal products through the platform. Through halal products business and matchmaking negotiations, we'll leverage on the energy of Malaysia's halal industry to jointly develop more overseas market and create a mutually beneficial and win-win cooperation model. Finally, through this Malaysia-Taiwan Halal Industry Cooperation Forum, we hope you can get first-hand information on the halal market in Malaysia and understand the applications of Malaysia's Halal Integration Platform. As for the digital transformation topics shared by Taiwanese experts, we hope to give Malaysia government and related agencies more ideas. We want to see more Taiwanese businesses follow the lead of the Bureau of Foreign Trade and work with the Taiwan Halal Center to make made in Taiwan halal products the top choice of Muslim consumers around the world. Thank you for taking part of this forum. Let us work together to export MIT products and build Taiwan into the best non-Muslim halal product supplying country. Thank you.
Thank you, President Lin, for your comments and sharing success stories with us. And next, please welcome Mr. Haroy Arifin Sahali, CEO of Halal Development Corporation, Berhad, the co-organizer of this event, to say a few words to us. Welcome.
Ms. Cynthia Kiang, Director General, Bureau of Foreign Trade, Ministry of Economic Affairs, Taiwan. Ms. Leonor Lin, President and CEO, Taiwan External Trade Development Council. Taiwan business community, distinguished guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to congratulate Bureau of Foreign Trade, or BOFT, and TAITRA for successfully organizing the Malaysia-Taiwan Halal Industry Cooperation Forum. It is a great honor for HDC to be the co-organizer of this prestigious forum and a privilege to be here on this very significant event of the year. I am delighted to see continuous support from the representatives of Taiwan business community coming from various fields and business areas. TAITRA and Taiwan Halal Center, or THC, have indeed established themselves as a partnership platform to foster collaboration for the awareness and development of the halal industry in Taiwan. As we all know, Taiwan and Malaysia had made close interactions and relationship in the areas of diplomacy, economy, tourism, education, and also in humanitarian aid. Taiwan is rich with its modern cities and traditional cultures that offer abundant opportunities to explore and venture into. On the economic front, in 2019, Taiwan was Malaysia's 6th largest global trading partner, 8th largest exports destination, and 5th largest source of imports. This has contributed a total trade of $22.7 billion, which derive from electrical and electronics, information and communications technology, machinery, equipment and parts, automotive parts, medical tourism, and halal products and services, including food and beverages. As the custodian of Malaysia's halal economy, HDC is a central government agency under Malaysia's Ministry of International Trade and Industry, or MITI. Our roles are to promote the participation and to facilitate the growth of industry players within Malaysia's halal ecosystem. We also explore for new markets which we can serve and cater through provision of halal certified products and services. The placement of HDC under MITI demonstrates the commitment by the Malaysian government to advance halal industry not only through industrial development, but through greater investments and expansion into international markets. Ladies and gentlemen, the sizable and growing Muslim population worldwide presents a huge market opportunity with untapped potential. Total Muslim population is estimated at 1.9 billion, forming 23% of the global population. By 2030, Muslims will make up 27% of total population. The countries with the largest Muslim population are in the South Asia and Pacific region, which include Indonesia, Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, Nigeria, and Egypt. In this respect, halal economy offers enormous potential for the halal industry and industry players involved in the sector, especially for both Taiwan and Malaysia businesses. The changes in global halal landscape today have attracted many countries intensifying its effort in developing its halal industry. As a moderate Muslim country, Malaysia is evidently a world pioneer in the halal industry due to our internationally recognized halal certification and logo, which is commonly trusted and accepted by the global halal market. For your information, the Malaysian halal standard is actively being used as a benchmark for the international halal standard that covers from food, cosmetic, pharmaceutical, Muslim-friendly services, and logistics. Traditionally, halal products focus on the intake such as food and beverages. However, halal ingredients are also now becoming equally important because that's what added to make it as finished products. These ingredients are not only for the food and beverages, but also to personal care and cosmetics. To support the end-to-end ecosystem, services like logistics comes in to ensure goods are not mixed with non-halal to avoid cross-contamination during transportation. And therefore, I must say halal economy possesses strong value proposition that exists within key elements of the supply chain of the intersecting industry. HDC is also developing emerging subsectors like Muslim-friendly hospitality services in terms of accommodation, healthcare services, and tourism products. The hospitality services market holds great potential in the coming years once travel restrictions be lifted and open for people to travel. There is a strong demand by the Muslim travelers in terms of food, lodging, and accommodation. The booking for hotel rooms that offers important needs such as bidet for cleaning purpose, the direction of Qiblat, the prayer mat, certified halal toiletries, and kitchen that prepares halal food are very essential for Muslim-friendly services. Ladies and gentlemen, we heard you. It is essential to understand the global domestic needs and requirements through expert market intelligence prior to exporting an international business deals. At the same time, we know that the Taiwanese business community has been exploring opportunities to tap within the halal industry and the halal market trends. So, allow me to share how HDC services could be your solution to penetrate the emerging halal market. Currently, there are 6 focus areas in HDC core activities to facilitate the growth and development of Malaysia's halal economy, and we could offer these services to all business communities in Taiwan. They are namely Halal Parks, Halal Advisory and Consultancy, Halal Training Institute, Halal Knowledge Center, Halal Event Management, and Halal Integrated Platform or HIP. For Halal Industrial Parks, HDC offers trade facilitation, investment facilitation, Halmas incentives and advisory on new halal park development. There are an existing 200,000 acres wide halal parks within Malaysia that houses almost 300 companies, multinationals, and SMEs. We welcome Taiwan companies which want to relocate your businesses in these halal parks, as we have many attractive tax incentives. HDC also can offer our services to develop your own halal park in Taiwan. Next, we have halal consultancy and advisory that can perform pre-halal certification technical assistance to improve the halal assurance management system, halal auditing benchmark, and industry best practices. HDC would assist the businesses onboarding onto halal economy in terms of getting company to be certified, to be halal certified and Muslim friendly ready where applicable. With our vast experience in halal industry, HDC possesses unique know-how to assist any government that has interest to develop their own halal ecosystem. Ladies and gentlemen, in terms of talent development and competency building, our Halal Training Institute can offer comprehensive halal training programs designed to suit the current business needs and synchronize with the dynamism in the market. We could do it via online and as well as live streaming. Today, we have trained over 60,000 personnel worldwide through our programs. Our latest service is Halal Event Management. HDC will be organizing the World Halal Business Conference later in September of this year. In this World Halal Business Conference 2021, we will gather from all over the world the policymakers, investors, traders, industry experts, economists, innovators, scholars, and civil society leaders on high business networking engagement with promising business outcome. I would like to take this opportunity to invite all of you to participate in this year's World Halal Business Conference. You can visit our corporate website www.hdcglobal.com to register your interest. HDC's Halal Integrated Platform, or HIP, is our biggest project for this decade, and it is expected to be online by September this year. HIP is a platform that provides a global halal ecosystem community with market space access, business intelligence, employment opportunities, and trade and investment networks, giving your business the competitive edge to tap into the growing halal industry. I welcome you to visit HIP's microsite, hip.hdcglobal.com, and onboard now to become pioneer members of our Halal Integrated Platform. Ladies and gentlemen, as I move to end of my speech, I understand there will be a session on Halal Integrated Platform and Malaysia's halal market current situation presented by HDC's representatives. I would like to invite all of distinguished guests and partners to listen to the first-hand information that HDC can offer to drive your business direction forward instantly. From HDC, we welcome all Taiwanese businesses to discover the benefits of these initiatives for your businesses. I would like to thank TAITRA and BOFT once again for the effort in organizing this event today. As the world shattered by the pandemic COVID-19, and I hope this forum serves as a precious opportunity for us to have discussions in such a professional and yet friendly manner. I sincerely pray that we fully leverage on this occasion and help to lay the foundation for greater growth of halal industry. On our part, HDC is ever ready to foster stronger ties with the Taiwan business community in order to ensure a robust ecosystem with active participation from many players across government institutions and industry both from Malaysia and Taiwan. It's been an honor to be among such accomplished individuals and to be able to share my perspective before you all. With that, I wish you a very productive day ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Haroy Arifin Sahali, for your introduction. I'm sure the participants online now are all very excited about the business opportunities in Malaysia. Thank you once again for your remarks. Today at this forum, we will hear from 4 speakers who will cover different topics regarding current trends of Malaysia halal market, as well as digital transformation applications. We do hope that you will find this forum rewarding. First of all, please allow me to introduce the 4 speakers today. Our first speaker is Mr. Mohammed Hafiz Jamaluddin, Senior Manager of HDC, who will give us an introduction of Halal Integrated Platform. Then we will hear from Ms. Yusriana Muhammad Yusuf, also Senior Manager of HDC. The topic of her talk is Current Situation and Trends of the Malaysia Halal Market. Our third speaker is Mr. Su Weiren, Business Director of Institute for Information Industry. He will present Green Agri-food Chain S2B2C Solution for Smart Retailing. Our last speaker is Mr. Du Dingjie. He is Section Manager of Institute for Information Industry. The topic of his talk is Food Safety Situation Room with Heterogeneous Data. Now we will proceed to the presentation session. If you have any questions, please scan the QR code at the bottom of the screen, which will take you to a Slido page where you can raise your questions. Our speakers will answer some of the questions during the Q&A session. And now please enjoy the presentations.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I would like to share with you about Halal Integrated Platform. So this is actually a new initiative that is developed by HDC for halal industries players. Before we start, allow me to introduce myself. So my name is Hafiz Jamaluddin. You can call me Hafiz. I am actually the head of the Halal Integrated Platform. So we are part of Halal Development Corporation, focusing on the development of and the facilitation of the halal industry ecosystem. So my focus is actually to develop the ecosystem. So I have about 70 years experience in the sector of digital transformation, smart city, as well as large scale IT projects. So with that expertise, HDC acquire me to actually to run this unit Halal Integrated Platform and to set up the whole platform so that it can host the Halal ecosystem. Now, before I go further into Halal Integrated Platform, let me just introduce a bit what is HDC. So HDC is actually Halal in Development Corporation. We established in the year 2006, so we have been around for quite some time. We are the one who helped Malaysian halal industry to grow, and our mandate or our current role is actually the central coordinator that promotes the participation and facilitate growth of the industry players. Now, under HDC, we provide 5 services. Number one is halal consultancy and advisory. Here, what we do is that we provide advisory to assist or to help organization to obtain halal certificate. So that is actually the core of it. However, we do also provide advisory for a pre-certification as well as a post-certification. When I mention pre-certification, we actually help organization to assess their business whether they are halal ready or not. So for post certification, we are looking at risk management, crisis management, the governance of halal itself. Because once you have the halal certificate, you need to make sure that you maintain your eligibility of the halal, because those are the standards that you need to always maintain in order for you to make sure that your halal certificate is valid. All right. Next, we have Halal Training Institute. So this unit actually focus on upskilling, reskilling the halal professional. So when I say halal professional, it's not just the people who work in the slaughtering house, but we goes beyond that. We also train people, what we call halal executive, whereby they are the one who will be doing the audits, the halal audits. They are the one who will be running the halal governance. They are the one who will be helping to operate, manage, and set up the halal processes in your business. So hence, we do have a lot of halal professional. In fact, one of the key things that we offer in our HIP is that we have halal talent pool. So I will elaborate on that later. But most of the talents come from Halal Training Institute itself. Next, I have Halal Parks. So for Halal Parks, what we do is that we actually offer advisory to those two companies who first, if they want to expand to a bigger facilities. So normally in Malaysia, what happened is that when you started off small, and then you have demands and everything. If you want to expand, that's where they will need to find a proper factory or proper warehouse in order for them to scale up. But on the other hand, what we do is that we also provide services to companies that would want to come to Malaysia and operate in our halal parks. So as one of the things that we typically do to help companies overseas is that we will conduct a feasibility study for you prior to venturing into Malaysian halal park, because from that feasibility study itself, it allow you to actually see what are your options, and then you can practically put that into your consideration in terms of going into any suitable halal park that would be something that match to your business need, because some of the halal park are near the ports and some of them are near certain countries and whatnot. So each and every business will have their own requirement. Okay, next we have HIP. I wouldn't go further in this yet at the moment. We will talk about this later. But the other part is actually halal event management. So for halal event management, what we do is that we actually first conduct our annual World Halal Business Conference. So that will be on the 9th of September. So later I will share you the details on World Halal Conference itself. But is this World Halal Conference do is actually it posts, or it's actually a thought leader where the halal industry player come together, global halal industry player come together and share what is actually going on in the industry. But however, at the same time, we also do assist, organization who want to conduct a halal event in the future together with us. All right. Okay. So this is actually a bit of detail of the World Halal Business Conference. So like I mentioned, it's going to happen in the 9th of September. For this year, it's going to be virtual. It will be conducted virtually. So feel free to register and join this World Halal Business Conference, because I think it will be a very good exposure for those who want to participate in the halal industry. Okay, for those who are already operating in the halal industry, uh, I will also invite you to join, because this will be something that will help you to understand what's going on and how do you actually navigate through halal industry in the future. All right. Okay. Now let me just elaborate further on what is HIP is all about. So HIP is actually stands for Halal Integrated Platform. So our objective is actually to develop virtual platform for the industry stakeholder to participate in the halal industry ecosystem. Because what happened now, particularly in Malaysia, is that they are clustered of halal industry. So what we want to do is we want to connect everyone and every cluster into one single ecosystem, so that the members can enjoy the benefit of leveraging on each other, connecting on each other. Because halal is something is a bit niche, so we really need to be working together, because at the end of the day, the ecosystem is the one who is going to help you to expose your market, right? And our mission is, like I mentioned earlier, we want to not just connect the industry player, but we also want to connect the businesses, governmental agency, not necessarily Malaysia, but any countries all over the world who has the halal programs, and then service providers that can actually support our members, as well as consumer within within one halal industry ecosystem. So that is actually the goal, the mission of this HIP. And at the end of the day, we also want to facilitate and connect, expand the member market reach. So that means that on top of you have a connectivity in our halal ecosystem, we also will provide programs, initiative that will enable you to be part of the industry. Okay. Now, if I can run through one by one HIP. So the first one is actually we are focusing on nurturing and facilitating first our local SMEs, but our local business. Okay. So that means that, let's say for example, if you open a company in Malaysia, we can actually help you to grow, because at the moment, this program, when we talk about nurturing and facilitating, we are focusing on Malaysia. But of course, in the future, when we work with other government agencies through HIP, we would like to expand these programs as well. And then we also provide industrial insight and collective knowledge. That means that we do have market intelligence provided in HIP, so that it will enable players to make decision based on data that we have. Okay. And then we want to catalyze globalization's opportunity through acceleration. So when I mention globalization, that doesn't mean that Malaysia product to go out to other countries, but halal products from other countries can also be exported or be forwarded to other countries. For example, if I say, if you have a Taiwanese product that is halal, through HIP, you can actually leverage on our infrastructure to sell your product to other countries such as Middle East, Europe. So that is actually something that we do, not just for our local product, but any halal products. Okay. And then we will also like to enable halal business so that they can leverage on a digital technology or digital space. Because nowadays, people are looking at digital transformation. So we don't want our players to miss out in this as well. And then we want to empower business with halal business experts, because we do have experts through our halal network that the business can actually leverage on. So not just expert in the halal industry. In fact, we do have expert from the business side as well. I will explain to you how do we do that later. And at the end of the day, all of this all these things that we do, we want to actually set up a one-stop center that connects and enable halal industries so that the industry player can take part in the halal business, halal ecosystem. And why do we do this is because we understand that now, currently, what happened to the halal business is that once they go into halal business, they themselves have to put effort to find and connect the dots. So instead of doing that, we want to provide a platform so that instead they can just simply go in and identify things that they need. So, in short, if I can share with you, the Halal Integrated Platform is going to be something similar to the concept of shopping mall, whereby in shopping mall, normally you will have cinemas, you will have food courts, you will have retail store, and to some extent they have a sports facility and all those, and it allow the consumer to come in to the shopping mall and pick and choose what they want to do, because some people they just want to go to shopping mall and hang out, and some people they want to go and eat and whatnot. So that's what we are trying to do with HIP. So we would like to create a platform whereby inside that platform you will have many services, many programs that will be available for you. So for the HIP member, what you need to do is you just go in and you pick and choose what will be the best suitable things for you. So that is actually the intention of HIP itself. Okay, how do we do that? First, we actually work with our internal experts, which is our industry development unit, our halal consultancy and advisory unit, our halal training institute, our halal park, and our event management. But of course, with our capability, we are unable to cater to the big, massive ecosystem that we have at the moment. So that's the reason why we are working with other stakeholders such as government agencies, financial institutions, service providers and partners, industry partners, logistic and warehouse, halal park operator, education and research institution, consumer as well as talent pool. So just to give you a bit of example, how do we do that, and what sort of engagement that we do with our external stakeholders is that in financial institution, we actually negotiate with banks and try to get them to develop a special package just for halal industry. So recently, last week, we had launched one financial package for our local halal SMEs for them to actually leverage on that fund. So that is only one. There's a lot more banks that is going to be on board and offer this. So we are also looking at international bank that can allow or that can create those facilities. So same goes to government agencies and logistics and whatnot. So when we discuss with them, we want them to develop something that will be useful for the halal industry. So these are the services available in HIP. First one will be the funding facilitation. Okay, so imagine this is your shopping mall. So these are the shops in the shopping malls. If I can go through one by one. So in terms of funding facilitation, what we do is that we work with our partners, which is banks as well as government agencies, and we identify grants and funding facilitation package that will help our members or that will benefit our HIP members. Okay. And then for e-marketplace, this is the part where things get a bit more interesting. In HIP, we want to work with not just one but many e-marketplace. Why do we do that? Is because um, in at the moment we already established one halal marketplace for our domestic consumer, which is in Malaysia. However, we are now trying to find we want to work with e-marketplace that covers other countries as well. We want to set up a halal e-marketplace. For example, if we identify partners in Taiwan, we want to set up a halal marketplace specifically for Taiwan. What we want to do is that we want to offer this market to our HIP member, regardless whether these member are from Malaysia or any other countries. As long as they are our HIP members, they can always participate in this halal e-marketplace. So same goes to our local halal e-marketplace. So that is actually our intention. So I can foresee that in the future, we will have at least more than 10 or maybe more than five e-marketplace. Each and every marketplace will cover each countries. So that's the idea of what we want to do. And then we also provide online advertising and promotion. So this will be very useful for companies, particularly company overseas who want to push their halal products to our local player. Let's say, for example, when I say local player, we are not just looking at retail store. We are also looking at, like Malaysia, we have a lot of halal services. So we are looking at hotels, we are looking at hospital and whatnot, right? So you can always advertise those so that it will be easy for you to reach out to other counterpart in within our ecosystem. So the intention here is that instead of you spending money in social media to do your targeted marketing, HIP is already targeted to halal industry. So that's the intention of setting up the whole halal ecosystem. And then next we have our business networking and matching. I think this one is quite straightforward. This is what we've been doing in the past. It's just that now we are doing it virtually. But one thing that I would like to highlight is actually our job talent matching. So this is where a part of the requirement of halal certificates, or to maintain your halal certificate, you need to be able to have or you need to have at least one halal executive. So how do you do that? What we can do, we can always offer our expertise. Then from there, through our talent pool, you can always get a halal executive to be part of your organization. And in fact, let's say, for example, you want to train your own staff. What you do is that you can just get them to attend to our halal training institute, and they will be certified or as halal professional. So let's say in the future, if they want to find some other job in the halal industry, they can just leverage on our talent matching platform, right? Okay, the other one is actually procurement of a halal supply and services. This is the part where instead of a company go and try to do your own research. What you do, for example, if you have any events, a big event or huge event that will require halal catering, and you don't have the capacity to do that in Taiwan, and you would like to get assistance from Malaysia, so you can always open a tender, or you can call for announcement saying that, look, I have this opportunity. Please submit your proposal to us. Whoever that has the capability, please submit your proposal, and we can see how can we work together. So this is what we intend to do with halal procurement of a halal supply and services. So that is actually at the tendering level. But in terms of the supplies, we do have items and list of items that will be available for you to actually buy, or you do a trading B2B, right? Okay, so that is actually the platform that we want to provide inside our HIP, a procurement system. Okay. Next, we have analytics and business intelligence. This is actually just for us to have a visibility on what's going on in the halal industry, so that we can always constantly improve and provide the right or the best initiative for our halal industry player. Okay, because we want to make sure that we maintain the ecosystem. Okay, next we would like to also share our knowledge and mentorship. So we have mentors that our members can leverage on. And the other one that I would like to highlight is actually the halal logistic and warehouse. Okay, this is something that need to be part of if you are a manufacturer, you want to export, or you want to basically distribute your product. Halal product will need to have halal logistic and warehouse. So here we would like to we will be working with halal logistic and warehouse players to offer to our members. So in case of Taiwan, what we can do is we can always help organization who would like to explore into halal logistic and warehouse. And that's where we can always help to promote, or we can always help to work together to offer halal logistic and warehouse in Taiwan to our members in case they want to expand their business in Taiwan. Okay. And then if we have business support services, We also have digital transformation where we push technologies to our members so that they can leverage on those technologies. And then next we have go to market. Go to market is actually initiative that we develop in or we create in our Halal Integrated Platform to allow our members to participate in the industry. So one of the initiatives that we are currently developing is actually we are working with Halal retail chain store. So we would like to offer we would like the chain store to actually get their supplies or their products from our members. So that means that instead of them finding products they want to sell in their chain store, they will be working closely with us and identify, or maybe those supplier who want to participate, they can always participate in this program and eventually sell their products inside our halal retail chain store. Okay. Then we have Halal Incubation Project for Entrepreneurs. So this is actually a program that helps our members to do some sort of assessment on their business, their halal business, and see what sort of improvement that they need to do in order for them to go to the next level. And then we have Halal Knowledge Center. This is where the publications and the journals and also all the data and research have been published. This data and research is actually been developed by HDC, because we do have a market intelligence units that always constantly looking at the trend, the current trend, and we're constantly looking at the movement of halal industry, not just locally but as well, but globally as well. Okay. And then we do have Halal Park listing and advisory. So this is what I mentioned earlier. We do have services that help organization to expand their business. In fact, not just expanding their facility or the capability, but at the same time, we also assist uh, organization who want to move their facility to a better place. So those are the areas that we are looking at. And but of course, more specifically, we want to see how can business to move to our halal park and enjoy the benefit in a halal park. So that is actually the general idea of this halal park. Okay. And then we do have halal ingredient database that can be leveraged by business if you want to seek for ingredient. Next, we have halal industry training. So as I mentioned earlier, we do have a training program provided by our Halal Training Institute. However, I would like to highlight here that we will be releasing an online learning platform that contain halal training courses or halal courses that can be accessed by the subscriber. That means that whatever training and courses that we provide to our customer or to our candidates at the moment or participants at the moment, we will make it available online and it will be accessible on demand. So practically this platform is going to be the Netflix of trainings. You have accessibility to these training modules as and when at your own time. So that is actually one thing that we will have it available soon, because at the moment we are trying to migrate our modules inside the platform. Right, soon we will have that. As long as you register to our Halal Integrated Platform, which is at that address hip.hdcglobal.com, you will be constantly updated by all the new development that we have in our HIPs. Okay. And then we do have consultancies. We provide consultancies to our members. Cost consultancy, like I mentioned earlier, it covers from pre to post, pre-certification to post-certification. Now, with all these things, these services is readily available. However, the platform is at the moment is currently under development. So as long as you register in our microsite, you are already a member. Once the platform is launched, so that's where you can actually leverage on technologies inside there. However, in the meantime, you can always benefit from all this as long as you mention that you when you register, you do mention that okay, you need help in certain areas. So we will individually address to your needs. Okay, that's it for my slide. I think the next one is actually my final slide. So with HIP, our intention is actually we want to revolutionize our halal industry. So that's the reason why, as you can see, that we can't be providing, we can't be the one who running or operating each and every individual platform. So that's why we work with our partners. However, we are the one platform that we are developing. The HIP itself is going to be a platform where binds all the initiatives together, and we want to offer opportunities and initiatives and programs that our members can benefit. So that is how we intend to revolutionize our halal industry. So please do register, and if you can scan the QR code, it will take you to the microsite. And please do register and at our HIP, and hopefully we can see you guys again on the 9 September 2021. Thank you so much.
Not every company knows what is digital age, so let us assist you for you to instead just accept and embrace the digital age. Imagine in HIP as a shopping mall with an office tower block, which in that shopping mall it has B2B, B2C, and etc. On the office tower, we have not only governmental agencies but also financial institutions, halal experts, halal trainings, halal consultancy, and halal park, which help us as the group. So that's why we say it's an all-governing and composing, complete comprehensive halal ecosystem in the digital age.
Dajahau, Wachiao Yusriana Muhammad Yusuf. I am representing Halal Development Corporation for the topic Current Situation and Trends of the Malaysia Halal Market. Before we start, let me just brief about my presentation today, where I've divided into 3 segments. First is Global Halal Economy, second, Malaysia Halal Export Performance, and third is the Moving Forward Plan. Next page, please. Let us start with the global halal economy. In 2018, the global halal economy was at 3.1 trillion US dollar and is forecasted to reach up to 5 trillion US dollar by 2025. The data is basically based on the baseline study for all products and services related to halal and contribute to the halal economy, such as halal pharmaceuticals, halal foods, and also traveling. The potential halal markets actually forecasted to reach up to 38.1 billion with CAGR at 7.1%. That is previously before the pandemic hit us. Next page, please. The reality hit us globally with the pandemic COVID-19 that resulted to huge impact not only for the halal economy but global economy as a whole. It resulted a decrease in Muslim spending to 8% in 2020. The traveling sectors was hit by 70% reduction, where the major events like Tokyo Olympics been cancelled, the airlines industry went bankrupt, and also the Umrah and Hajj been cancelled. Next page, please. Okay, now we go to the second segment, which is Malaysia Halal Exports Performance. Can we go to next slide, please? The global pandemic COVID-19 outspread in mid last year has almost alarmed the global economy with an unexpected conflict. Positive momentum show in previous year. Same goes to Malaysia Halal Export Performance, where it resembling Malaysia's export performance, where the halal export contributed 3.1% of the total export, decreased by 24.7% from 40.6 billion ringgit Malaysia to 30.5 billion in 2020. Next page, please. If you can see, the Malaysia Halal export performance started with a good, significant improvement with slightly a decrease of 0.1% in Q1 2020 compared to Q2 where the COVID-19 impacted us. That goes the drop of 27.1%, then follow with the 32% in Q3 and 35.6% in Q4 2020. However, the top 10 products that Malaysia export to other countries is the glycerol, which is about 15.1%, edible products with 14.2%, and cocoa powder with 9.0%. The outturn of pandemic COVID-19 not only impact the global supply chain, but also the local supply chain. For the example, the food and beverage, though still the major contributor to the export market for Malaysia, down by 22% due to the restriction of control order, where we cannot even get the supply. Same goes to the industry chemical, dropped by 48.9%, where the global supply chain disrupted aggressive competition among the chemical manufacturers and also the excessive supply in chemical materials. The pharmaceutical, resembling the food and beverage and also industry chemical by 24.8% decrease from 2019. This is merely because of demand of changes. People start looking the access for affordable essential drugs. That's why it disrupts the supply. As for the halal ingredients itself, it drops by 30.7%, where we have the shortage of supply due to the restriction order. This not only impact the halal ingredient manufacturer, but also the production of finished product, where we have a low supply of raw material and ingredients. For cosmetic and personal care, the consumer actually impacted also due to the COVID-19 financially. They started to look for products that are for personal care, such as hand sanitizer, such as masks, rather than the beauty products. The personal care product are actually small in margin compared to the beauty products. That's why you can see the reduction of 10% from 2019. The oil palm derivative decreased by 29.1%. This is due to the slow demand from the importing countries as well as domestic consumption. You can see that when the government put the movement control order in place, it disrupts the common activities in oil palm, such as fertilizing and also harvesting. Next page, please. Malaysia's halal top export destination. Previously, in 2019, China was number one, but now Singapore repositioned their position as number one for the Malaysia halal export with 4.1 billion ringgit Malaysia, followed by China, 3.4 billion ringgit Malaysia. United States of America at 1.74 billion, and also Thailand and Singapore with 1.48 and 1.34 respectively. You can see from this slide, the food and beverage is still number one main contributor with more than 50% from the value of the importing value from each countries. Followed by the halal ingredients, that is the second major contributor. Next page, please. Okay, Malaysia's halal exported value by continent. If you can see, Asia is still number one in terms of the export destination with 20.9 billion ringgit, follow with Europe by 3.3 billion and Americas with 2.8 billion. The African and Oceania with 1.98 billion ringgit and 1.6 ringgit respectively. Next page, please. Okay, not to forget the brief about Taiwan, the Malaysia export product to Taiwan. Taiwan ranked 17th for the Malaysia halal export destination with 1.9% contributed to the total Malaysia halal export. If you can see, there's a reduction of 24.7% compared to last year from 808 million ringgit to 589 million ringgit. The top products still food and beverage at 61.4%, follow with the halal ingredients with 27.5 and 5.3 with the cosmetic and personal care product. This is brief about what Malaysia export to Taiwan. Next page, please. Okay, the third segment will be the moving forward plan, where what Malaysia needs to do. Next page, please. You can see HDC not only taking care of halal industry, one of the role is actually to facilitate the halal sectoral growth within the halal ecosystem. The halal ecosystem is actually a network of components such as policy and legislation, human capital, science, technology and innovation, awareness, promotion, incentives, infrastructure and logistic, data analytics, and also the conformity of assessment. These components actually need to be interrelated in terms of growth cycle and deliver of halal products and services that contribute to the social economy development. Next page, please. HDC has developed the Halal Industry Master Plan for 2030 with the 7 strategic thrusts. First is actually to have industry-friendly policy and legislation. Number 2 is actually to create more new market space for Malaysia product and services. Number 3 is actually to have a more or larger pool of experts in halal industry. Number 4 is actually to look into enhance the quality and also integrated infrastructure development. Number 5, to foster the thought leader. Number 6 is actually to produce more homegrown. Number 7 is actually to look more participation in halal industry. That is the 7 strategic trust, which is very high level in the Halal Industry Master Plan. Next page, please. Okay, through the Halal Industry Master Plan, we actually identify what is the halal promoted sectors and found 11 sectors that are potential in halal industry growth drivers for Malaysia until 2025. The first one is definitely food and beverage, and we're focusing in terms of food services. Number 2 is pharmaceuticals. Number 3 is halal ingredients. Number 4 is medical tourism. Number 5, cosmetic and personal care. Number 6, modest fashion. Number 7, medical devices. Number 8 is Muslim friendly. Number 9, logistic services. Number 10, Islamic financing. And number 11 is consumer goods. Next page, please. Okay, the sectoral roadmaps is actually a strategic plan for 5 years to see what exactly the initiative or intervention that can realize in terms of growth of industry, halal industry, in terms of contributing to the socio-economic, and also to look into the value proposition that halal can bring in. For the halal sectoral roadmap is actually to look into to build a prominent and visible Halal Malaysia by addressing the issues surrounding the sectors with the four elements. First is actually policy and legislation and also awareness, where we need to see what are the best practices that we have in Malaysia or in halal as halal governance. Number two is actually infrastructure, technology and innovation adoption, where we need to enhance the development and leveraging on the technology adoption that we already have and enhance the technology only. The incentive wise, we need to structure the initiative to see what exactly can enable the sustainable growth and also that continuous investment from abroad. For example, the halal mask from the halal park incentives. The human capital. This is we cannot neglect the human capitals, where we need to build a competent human capital for the benefit of the industry. Next slide, please. Okay. To strengthen and unlock the commercial potential, the Halal Industry Master Plan developed by HDC followed with the sectoral roadmaps that we already built. The two sectoral roadmaps that we already done is actually in terms of food services and also pharmaceuticals. And currently we are in the implementation mode, where we established a sectoral working groups with the synergy and also the active involvement from industries and also participation from ministries, agencies, to make sure the initiative and intervention that we already developed can be take up and can be monitored closely within this 5 years plan. Next page, please. The example of the sectoral roadmaps, the halal pharmaceuticals, what we do is actually we identify what are the key issues to be resolved. And from there, we found out that for halal pharmaceuticals, the 4 key result areas that can contribute to the growth of halal pharmaceuticals. Number 1 is to improve access on halal raw material. Number 2 is actually growing halal biopharmaceuticals industries. And number 3 is actually the strategic collaboration between local and international partners. And number 5 is actually to look into improving halal pharmaceutical certification. Through these 4 halal key result areas, we found out 25 interventions need to be done, where 15 policies, most of it in terms of policies, 1 from infrastructure, 4 for incentives, and 1 for human capitals. Looking into the opportunities with the intervention, we believe that by 2020, the halal pharmaceuticals in Malaysia can grow up to 1.62 billion ringgit Malaysia with CAGR at 4.1%. So, and the export value up to 430 million. Next page, please. This one is the expected outcome from the sectoral roadmap for food services that we done previously. 6 key issues to be resolved. Then we go down to the 6 key result areas that need to be carried out. Number 1 is actually to grow halal ingredients for the halal food services sectors. Number 2 is actually to expand the support for SMEs in terms of certification readiness. Number 3 is actually the partnership among the delivery services in terms of to drive the SME growth. Number 4 is actually growing the marketplace. Number 5 is actually strengthen the policies. And number 6 is actually to look into the awareness program. Through the 6 key result areas, 17 interventions identified, again, mostly in terms of policy, which is 9, 5 infrastructures, 1 incentives, and 2 in terms of human capitals. For the halal food services, the expected outcomes is actually the industry revenue to increase to 40 billion by 2025, with CAGR more than 18%. The food services, we are looking at the socio-economic impact where they can provide the halal sector employment about 112,000 by 2020, and also the private investment at 550 million. Next page, please. Okay, before I end my presentation today, I would like to brief about HDC products and services that we have. Among the product and services that we have is number one, if you look into the human capital upscaling and rescaling, we do have Halal Training Institute. For the business governance transformation, we have Halal Consultancies Advisories. For the investment platform, we do have Halal Park. And when we talk about marketplace, we do have Halal Integrated Platform looking at B2B and B2C trading platform. And if you know that HDC always have this annual event about thought leadership platform called Halal World Halal Conference. Now we rebrand it as World Halal Business Conference, which will be on 9 September. And also, we have the knowledge or intelligence-based platform, Halal Knowledge Centers. The figures that I presented previously is from the Halal Knowledge Center. You can go to just type Halal Knowledge Center. They can direct you to the website for you to actually to become a member. That you can foresee what such of information that you need from that. Also, we have the halal product and services in 3D platform. Because of the pandemic issue previously, we come out with the digital augmented showcase of halal products and services. Not to forget, we also have the SME internationalization, where we work with multinational in our halal sourcing partnership program. We wanted them to become their supplier, the SMEs to become the MNC supplier. And for companies who are interested to become halal certified company and yet to gauge their readiness towards the halal certification, we have this assessment tools called eRehal. If you go to the Halal Knowledge Center, you can see there's eRehal there. eRehal is actually to gauge where is your readiness towards the halal certification. With that, I end my presentation for today. Thank you very much. See you again. Stay safe.
Thank you for your invitation. I am especially honored and happy to be able to share with you about green food sustainable supply chain from my experience. And I will introduce to you the current situation and the beginning of the program. First of all, in 2018, the Institute for Information Industry has begun a collaboration with Taiwan Green Dining Guide Developing Sectors. The initiative was launched by the Sustainable Restaurant Association, SRA. Currently, there are more than 20,000 restaurants following the guide in Europe, in Taiwan and Hong Kong. Here in Taiwan, the development has reached more than 300 restaurants, and we are working together with them. Here in Taiwan, we have more than 300 restaurants working with us. This was back in 2018 when we were pushing forward green dining. So the Green Dining Promotion Association invited the founders of SRA to come to Taiwan and work with us, the Institute for Information Industry. So we invited some founders of restaurants to have this joint declaration of green dining. We see green dining. When we say green dining, we hope to achieve eco-friendliness. So we hope that we want to make sure that the green dining becomes a representation of eco-friendliness. And coming all the way from the ingredients, the restaurants, the whole process should be eco-friendly and sustainable for the environment, including recycling and so on. So for the food ingredients and the way they're cooked, and even recycling, such as the reduction of plastic products used, and the avoidance of one-time disposable products. Also, we encourage vegetarian food, or vegetarian focus, plant-based, and less meat, despite the fact that we're not a totally vegetarian project. In addition, we promote a non-pesticide production. So the whole process is to ensure a good supply chain that is sustainable and beneficial to the environment of the earth. And the whole project is called Sustainable Agri-Food and Eat, SAFE. That's why we called it SAFE. The whole SAFE ecosystem consists of 3 targets. The first one being the restaurants, which provide food services. Also, food processors or food processing vendors or factories are included in this target. And second of all, the farming side, especially organic farmers. We want to make sure that organic or sustainable farming is incorporated. If it's not organic, at least we want to encourage farmers to reduce their pesticides use gradually year by year. We hopefully after 3 years, there will be 0 pesticide. As for the whole market, in Taiwan, there are about 3 to 4 million vegetarian consumers who care about their health and care so much about the growing and the cooking of the food ingredients. And also, if the process is eco-friendly or not, and so forth. So these 3 parts are essential for the whole ecosystem. And that's very critical. We see the whole project SAFE. At the bottom of the slide, we can see that the goal is to develop a sustainable green dining experience. And also for the customers or consumers, we want to create or ensure a carefree eating out service. Since the citizens or people living in the major cities eat out a lot, they care very much about the impact of these ingredients on their health. So the whole process or the whole program, which provides a carefree or very healthy dining service, is very much appreciated and valued given the demand of the consumers. Also, through this project, we want to make Taiwan a safe environment. So this is the Sustainable Agri-Food Chain Solutions. We want to make a safe ecosystem for Taiwan. As I mentioned, sustainable agri-food and eat safe environment. So as a goal, we're building a cloud service system, which is called an eSafe Cloud. The ecosystem is for agricultural businesses and food and eat. It's a digital platform and it covers farmers, restaurants, logistics services, and customers. It allows customers to manage their own purchase and dining. So this cloud, the Safe Cloud, can be divided into 6 key functions. So as you can see here, we have A, B, C, D, E, F. A is Green Chain Data Engine Analysis, which aims for analyzing supply chain data. Now people talk about digital transformation a lot. It has to rely on data to conduct the transformation and help supply chain to get enough information quickly. B is for farmers and supply chain, allowing them to use the service. And C is the delivery providers. We also work with the logistics side to help them ship food ingredients efficiently to restaurants without food waste or with less food waste. The next one is purchasing or procurement. Restaurants will join the network through the function D. And for E and F, it's the consumer side. This is the green food guide for purchasers to follow, and also for consumers. When they're sourcing the dining options, they need this green dining guide. So we have this guide for the consumers. So for E and F in Taiwan, annually they have awards, presentation ceremonies, and through the collection of data, we give out awards to encourage restaurants. And just like in the UK, we also have set some standards and criteria for food makers or restaurants to go for a better quality certification. For example, we can help restaurants and food providers to earn stars, such as Food Made Food or Green Restaurant certificates. This year, the annual awarding ceremony has been held to present awards to those with good performance. In the future, through this cloud integration system, restaurants will be able to acquire relevant information and data automatically. This is the solution, as I mentioned, A, B, C, D, E, F. So this whole SAFE solution can be divided into 3 parts. So B and C are under the Green Supplier and Delivery Management System. This is for the supplier. And A and D are under the Material Procurement or Ingredient Procurement Platform. So this is about the buying and selling of the food ingredients, which also include an analysis of buying and selling sales information. This is food service facing. About E and F, they belong to Green Dining App, which is for consumers and restaurants to help them buy green food and green ingredients. So these are the 3 parts. Here we can see that with the solution for the green dining solution for the app, every day there are food to be expired. Restaurants and chefs hope not to waste edible and fresh food ingredients. But since they are about to expire, so hopefully they can be made into dishes before they expire or before they go sour. So here on the Green Dining Map app, you can see the green restaurants and which restaurants are having how much food left. We call them precious food or cherished food meals or food saving meals. So the consumers can check out this app to find out which restaurants to go to. They can choose to dine for here in the restaurant or to go. Also, by doing so, the app can increase the income of the restaurants, and for the consumers, it's a win-win as well because they can buy delicious meals at a lower price. So this is one of the features of the app. Second of all, there are ready-made food, or you can say ready-cooked food. It can be cooked or heated and served quickly. So we call them ready-made food. So every year domestically, it's growing 2 to 3 times in terms of the market size. Though the demand is rapidly growing, especially given the hit of the pandemic, now many restaurants are developing ready-made food packages or to-go daily waste order system to support their businesses. So basically, they're provided to housewives. Their main customers are housewives. So for housewives who use ready-made meals can save time. Also, the green dining map or this guide, you can see a map in this app. It's like Uber or Google Map for green restaurants. You can see the locations of the restaurants, the information and introduction of the dishes, and the food ingredients information, and so forth. They're all recorded in this online platform system. So the consumers can use the app to help them make choices. And also, the system will give them recommendations based on their preferences. If a consumer has too much of some ingredients, the app will provide suggestions for consumers to balance their diets. So these 3 main features are from the Green Dining app for the consumers. We see B2B or to business supply chain. So there was to consumers, but now it's to business. So for the supply chain, we work with farmers and the producers or food providers of the ingredients, and even the processing factories. Information about food can be collected and sent to our certification platform. So this is not a costly traditional certification in your mind with high prices. It's called a PGS that has been available for years, and in this certification, all the partners can oversee each other. So, for this system and this material procurement platform, we have this green product certification, and over 3,000 items have passed the certification. For consumers and restaurants, they can go to this procurement platform to select and purchase the ingredients needed. For all the restaurants, after buying the ingredients, they can also give a rating to the food ingredients on this platform. They are also less frequently used vegetables. In the past, in Taiwan, we don't have this channel for the ingredients to be checked. Therefore, farmers planted a lot of them. So a lot of restaurants actually have some special need or demand for a certain kind of vegetables that are difficult to find in the market. However, these vegetables are in good quality. So these ingredients have less demand and less supply, but still it can be found on this platform for the restaurants. So what's the good of it? The good of this is that if you're growing a certain kind of special vegetable, you can still find your buyer here on the platform. So as producers or farmers, you can diversify your produce or produce portfolio instead of growing just one kind of produce. So for the producers, farmers, and how they get to work together with the restaurants, this is a procurement platform for them. Traditionally in Taiwan, usually 20%, there is 20% waste in average for the so-called ugly vegetables, or the so-called out of criteria ingredients. Whether they look terrible or they are not in the right size, they're usually wasted and thrown away. However, they can still be cooked or used. In the past, there was a 20% disposal rate and about 25% damage rate throughout the logistics process. So throughout the logistics process, or because of maybe without the cold chain, so it's technical damage. So there's another waste of 25%. So in other words, it's 20 plus 25 in total. It's about 40 to 45% food waste on the way from their production site to the logistics and to the market. So it's about one half. It's about 50% almost of the food ingredients wasted. But now they're actually come to think of it, even though the so-called ugly food they are called, they are still nutritious. So they can be provided to some restaurants. Now the supply chain contains the supply center, logistics centers. Now usually they're linked through the cold chain from the production site to the consumer site. And in the past, it was challenging because there were many suppliers which built their own storage rooms or warehouse. It's actually quite costly. But then the use rate is quite low. And also throughout the process, there are a lot of trucks or cars needed to go between the sites and the storage rooms. But now we're having a centralized logistics service. So the production site, well, we have one logistics center and they can go directly to the distribution center. So we would like to reduce the waste to only 10%, and hopefully 90 to 95% of food ingredients can be served on the table ultimately. So that's the trusted situation and the so-called business model. And next, we see the procurement side. So the whole process, you can see the green and compliance products, and also goodwill food purchasing, the so-called out of the criteria product, and also customized orders from the restaurants. They all can be found on this platform, and also regular food products can be found on this cloud service. And next, this is the current solution. And here we could see that it's like a one-stop shop for restaurants. It wasn't existent in the past. In the past, for a restaurant, they need to face tens of different suppliers. Now we have launched the service for over 1 year, and about 30 major suppliers already are available or have registered on this platform. And first, consumers, for the consumers, we offer a chance for promotion to promote green products. And through the record of the purchase of the consumption for each and every meal, the consumer will have a green mile. So this is like a mileage system. So the consumer's preferences and the frequency they order certain food can be recorded. So these business information will be given to producers and restaurants. Then they know how to adjust their production strategies and also production volumes, because now they know the trend and how is it changing the market. And next, we see the whole supply chain, and we divide the participants into 4 different categories according to their maturity, especially for the farmers. So the first level player, they have to have reliable product standard reliable products in shorts. So it's the best product. It's the best products with a fair price, at a fair price, in other words. For the second level players, the standard offer, it should be traceable. So it's about traceability. So all the food ingredients and their pesticides information should be recorded. They should be traceable so as to make sure that the ingredients are as sustainable and green as suggested by the provider. And it should be traceable. It should be traceable digitally. So this should be with compliance through the digital information. So from their stats, we should be able to see that. And the third level players are the ones with customized offer. So the quality transparency should be high, and also it should be able to provide customer monitor. For example, a restaurant requires certain ingredients, then the suppliers should be able to produce and supply all the criteria or standards requested. Hopefully, they can meet the demand of the restaurants. And when we say the quality service, we are talking about the end product. So in Taiwan, there are a lot of consumers who value the whole process and quality and experience. And instead, they are less sensitive to the price. So the 4 different levels of suppliers, according to their maturity, we are pushing or promoting them step by step, from level 1 all the way to level 4. So throughout the whole process, the Safe Cloud, the ecosystem, can be divided into 4 different types. Connected farmers. So here are a few key services. That we have connected supplier. So the farmers can compile through their suppliers to take orders. So that's a connected supplier. And there are already 4 to 5 farmers. So we have connected services and all. So the agriculture products of all the produce can be integrated into the storage room or the warehouse. So with the 400 to 500 farmers who have joined the system, and the suppliers, there are about 30 suppliers, 30 vendors. And very quickly, rapidly, we will grow or expand to 100 vendors. So there will be more and more joining because there was no system like this. But now we have this system, they will be joining us. And now for the cloud platform and the connected buyer and the green dining guide procurement app, and we see the green product e-commerce services. The whole system is not just built by itself or by ourselves. It's open for connections. There are open API available. So for the last category, connected consumer, there are many different kinds of consumers. They can be done through API or an app directly. And now you can see that at the upper left corner, we see the green dining guide map. Now it's available for mobile and website versions. And we see the participations or the restaurants participating. We see this offline events. We have the green product markets for the farmers to be able to interact with the vendors directly. And also on the upper right corner of the picture is the President Tsai Ing-wen, and our Premier of the Executive Yuan for their participation in the system, enabling agriculture. So it's a great achievement and encouragement to the farmers. In the bottom right corner, we see the first of its kind of the award ceremony. So these good performing vendors and restaurants are awarded, and this was held by a government official. So you can see the whole system is going together with the government's policy for sustainable, valuable development. So it's also supported greatly by government agencies. So very briefly, I just introduced to you how we built the safe supply chain on the cloud. So through the collaboration with the restaurants and also the SRA organizations in the UK, it's an international collaboration program. And in Taiwan, the SRA founder is highly approved and highly recognized of Taiwan's services and Taiwan's current efforts and achievements. And hopefully we will be able to work with different countries mentioned. Thank you. That concludes my presentation. Hello everyone, I am Du Dingjie from the Institute for Information Industry. Today I would like to explain how in Taiwan we use food safety sourcing information to create a war room for food safety and sourcing. So the project is conducted in collaboration with the Council of Agriculture for their Agri-Beta platform, a smart agriculture and common information platform. So I will give an outline of today's presentation in the next slide. We will first see the beginning of the mutual information platform. I will explain the design of the platform and how it can be later used to integrate all the information or the data related to food safety. Next, I would like to explain how we use big data analysis and how we receive information and exchange information for details. Next, I will share how we authenticate the information through the Ministry of Education systems. And finally, we will integrate the Ministry of Education system and the Council of Agriculture's information on 3L1Q, that's 3 labels and 1 QR code, to visualize the information to the people. In our next slide, I will discuss the Common Information Platform and how it came about. There are 3 main objectives, 3S, sharing, service, and synergy. For sharing, when we started collaborating with the Council of Agriculture, we planned to share the Council's information with others. In the future, we would like to have all information including weather, food safety ingredients, open data, and also agricultural additives and pesticide on this platform and share with the council or other third parties. That is the service part. And interdisciplinary integration is the synergy part. We want to target information stored in the public sector, such as sourcing, weather, and IoT information to create synergy for working with experts and agricultural businesses to provide different services. We want to provide a platform where experts, ICT businesses, and sensors can be integrated. I'd like to show you the architecture of the platform. So here we see the architecture of the common platform, and at the bottom layer is the data lake. So the data is from government agencies, agricultural businesses, and even ICT vendors. The information is on the weather, market, fertilizers, farms, IoT information, and food safety sourcing information, which will be imported into the Common Information Platform. After the information is imported, we will provide an open API for third parties or government agencies to access the information. So you can see food safety API, weather API, pesticide API, fertilizer API, and market and IoT API. Next, we'll be talking about the services. So the original service means that we give the information to people for their reference. Our target audience will be farmers and businesses, agriculture businesses, R&D institutes, government agencies, and ICT businesses. So that's structure. So for the next slide, we will be sharing the big data lake and statistics. We see that earlier I mentioned we've accessed a lot of information, and how much data do we have? We have more than 100 million items or entries, and they are under 37 different categories. and the majority is weather data because weather is so critical to agriculture. The second biggest category is the food safety sourcing ingredients data, which is provided by the Council of Agriculture through their 3L1Q. There are more than 10 million entries of food safety sourcing information, and it's still growing. The third biggest category is market information, and this information will be provided and available through Open API for people to access. You can see on this outline that now we have the information available and the Open API. How do we make exchanges available, especially under the scenario of food safety? You'll see that today, in the Common Information Platform, we have stored the food ingredient sourcing information. This information is integrated by the platform and provided to a third party, which in Taiwan is the Ministry of Education. The MOE has a food ingredients registration platform that provides 3L1Q information for colleges, universities, high schools, middle schools, and elementary schools to check if the 3L1Q with the food is actually issued by the Council of Agriculture. Through the Ministry of Education, schools are able to access 3L1Q information. For food safety applications, we can see at the bottom of the slide that there are different certifications from the Council. Certifications include GAP, food traceability, organic certifications, CAS, or QR code sourcing, and their certifications will all be stored in the Common Information Platform. The platform will then share the information to the MOE's Food Ingredients Registration Platform through Open API, and the schools can use the Ministry of Education's platform to check the sourcing number to see if the 3L1Q is certified by the Ministry of Education or by a government agency. If not, then double confirmation is needed to check whether there were mistakes in the food ingredient registration process or whether the source of information is incorrect. So, in this outline, we will give an example of the whole process from the information sharing by the Council to the food ingredients registration system by the MOE. This starts from its certification is called the 3 labels and the 1 QR code, 3L1Q. So there are 3 certified labels provided by the agricultural agencies. The 1Q targets traceability, and there are different types of traceability. So that's traceability, and there are different types of them. So as of now, there are 7 categories for the 1Q in the 3L1Q. We see at the bottom of the slide that there are 7 categories: agricultural produce, pig, pork, chicken, eggs, etc., and fish. And traceability is available for all the categories. So there are 3 different labels and 1 QR code for the schools. There will be a code for the schools to check the sourcing number, or the code for them to confirm if they are the most updated sourcing code. We see the current application of the Common Information Platform, and the data lake is for schools. Currently, the 3L1Q is currently used by the Campus Food Ingredients Registration Platform. QR codes, the traceability part, have the highest use out of all 3L1Q. CAS is the second popular service, and traceability is the third most popular service. So you see that schools are using the services for their school lunch menus, and the rankings are here. You can see the Common Information Platform. So we see the differences before and after the compilation. At the bottom, we see that before the compilation or integration, the MOE only had 3 Ls and no QR codes. The MOE had to reach out to the Council of Agriculture, which then had to contact all the individual vendors, and so the information is quite complex. The information is also from various government agencies, and the updates are rather slow. Now, with this common information platform, we offer a single interface. Users only have to submit a traceability code or a label to access the information they need. The third thing is real-time updates. There are integrated information from 4 to 5 different government agencies under the Council of Agriculture, 3 labels, and 7 different QR codes. And it's very convenient for schools to use the common information platform instead of contacting different government agencies. Now, they just need this platform and they can see all the updated real-time information they need with the labels and QR codes. Visualized the 3L1Q information, which is our topic today. So, through the integration, we provide a source of information and provide information to the schools and how they can use them. We see the sources of the information. For example, the 3L1Q is from the Council of Agriculture. In addition to information from the Council, we also have information from the Agricultural Chemicals and Toxic Substances Research Institute on chemical testing. We also have information from the MOE on school menus, ingredients, and the use of 3L1Q. Schools are in different locations, and so we also integrate their location into the platform. With the information integration, we can get a visualization for the food safety and traceability war room. So with this visualization, we can provide the services and benefit different target users or target audiences. First, let's take a look at their user interface. Users can first select the scope of the information. For example, users can choose to show the locations, county, city of the produce, and which of the labels and QR codes does the county use. Next, the users can also choose a specific period. For one school, for example, if they want to know through March to June how much 3L1Q information they've used, they can choose the time period and see which cities the ingredients are from, through which providers, and the customers. So you can trace this record the whole way. So the whole visualization and the development of the war room was accomplished through a tool called the Sankey chart. By integrating different food traceability information, we provide a single interface and different information based on users' different demands. And so you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 listed above the slide. This is for users to first choose the labels, then see which cities the produce was shipped to and who the food ingredients suppliers was. Then we see who the food ingredient supplier supplies to and when the schools use them. So you see this pipeline that shows the labels, QR codes, and products, as well as the producing unit or food suppliers, where the schools are located, and how much the county uses. So the width of the pipelines is different because there are different numbers of labels and QR codes available. A wider width means more labels and QR codes. So the first use case focuses on target audiences of food or agricultural ingredients providers and regulators. For the regulators, they need to know major food ingredient suppliers to cities or schools under their jurisdiction. So the platform can show the different produce farmed in different locations. Let's say that are using TAP and the TAP, and the TAP reveals that the food ingredients is from various different counties and cities. The second step is we can get to see who the food ingredient supplier is. So marked in yellow is the biggest food ingredient supplier, which is able to supply to multiple elementary schools. Regulators can then target and audit major food ingredients suppliers or even sample their produce. Major food ingredient suppliers could potentially impact more schools, and so regulators can identify suppliers that use the most labels and QR codes to audit accordingly. So that's how the war room can be used effectively and trace the major suppliers. So that's the first application. We see the second application is through schools. In the event of food scandals in schools, such as students suffering from stomach upsets, or vomiting, schools will be able to check the sources of the ingredients. For example, an elementary school can choose their school to see the food ingredient suppliers, labels or QR codes used, which counties or cities the labels and QR codes are from, and which farmers produce the food. So regulators will be able to trace the food back from the schools to providers, cities, and even the farmers with the food safety war room. So you see, that's how the traceability is clear or can be achieved through this platform. And that they'll be clear. Yeah, so this third application use case is for pesticide checking. So if regulators test and find produces that do not meet agricultural chemical safety levels, regulators are able to see which schools have used these disqualified food ingredients. There are different numbers to symbolize that. We can identify the unsafe foods, their source, the labels and QR codes used, and schools. The red part shows how regulators can trace all the way from the original production place to suppliers and to the schools that are consuming the food ingredients, and we can respond quickly to see if the ingredients are used or consumed already. So if not, then we can quickly inspect and dispose of the ingredients instead of not knowing where all the food ingredients go and which schools have already consumed the ingredients. That is to avoid the regulators not knowing which schools have consumed the ingredients and which have not. The next slide is also about unsafe, disqualified foods. So let's take a look at the detailed list below. Now you see a disqualified food ingredients, and then what's the next step? First of all, stop the use and stop the spread because you'll see an alert. The second step is if there is one disqualified from pesticide check, then we need to find out where it is produced. And The third step is to check which cities and counties are affected. The fifth step is to check with schools which schools have received or consumed unsafe foods. And the next step is to check what the specific ingredients are, such as bok choy, nanohana, etc. And we can trace it from there. So this is the final application. Thank you very much for your time. So this is my presentation on how we integrate 3L1Q, our common information platform, school locations, and related information to create our food safety war room. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Du, and all our speakers for your excellent talks. Now we will proceed to the Q&A session. We have received many questions from Slido, and some of them will be answered by our speakers. If your question is not answered, please email your contact information to thc@taitra.org.tw, and we will take care of your request. And now we will proceed to our questions. The first question: what sort of opportunities do you see Taiwanese companies explore in Malaysia in the halal industry? We will invite Mr. Muhammad Hafiz Jamaluddin, Senior Manager of HDC, to answer this question first.
Okay. From HIP point of view, I can see various. Number one is that, like I mentioned earlier, that we have our e-marketplace. So that is actually the first thing that you can do when you register as our HIP member. You can always participate in our e-marketplace. All right, not just in for Malaysian market, but you can always go to other markets through HIP. That's number one. Number two, one of the opportunity that I can see is that if you have a product, regardless whether it's halal or not, but you don't have any, if let's say for example, your product don't have any porcine or any ingredient that related to pork, then what you can always do is actually you can always leverage on the OEM facility that we have in Malaysia, because most of them, they already have a halal they already have a halal certificates. So you can, when you work with our OEM company in Malaysia, you can always share with them your recipe. Of course, you need to have a certain agreement with them. They will you will just provide them with recipes. They can actually cook or they can actually produce your product here. And the best part is that you can always leverage on their halal status, and you can have your product to be halal certified under their facilities. So that is another thing that you may want to consider, because once you have that, then at the end of the day, you don't just have a Malaysian market, but you also have exposure to other halal industry market. So you can make Malaysia as a hub for you to produce your halal version of your products. So that is another opportunity that I can think of. And obviously, other than that, is we can if you go the other way around, Taiwan company can always work with Malaysian halal product producer, and you can always procure, or you can always bring our halal SMEs product to Taiwan and sell it there. So that is actually another area. But this one, all these thing is actually the initiative that I can actually share you through HIP. But of course, there's a lot more. You can always set up your halal parks, and you can always participate in the larger ecosystem. You want to be the service provider for our halal ecosystem, especially when there is a logistic service required from Malaysia to Taiwan, and then from Taiwan through that distribution. And I can see that the other areas is that you can always set up a halal a warehouse, so that that can be the collection center for halal products, not just from Malaysia, and the rest of the world. Okay.
Would HDC be able to help Taiwanese companies to venture into halal industry, and how? We will invite Mr. Muhammad Hafiz Jamaluddin, Senior Manager of HDC, to answer this question.
Okay, that is actually a good question, because that is actually what HDC do. As I mentioned earlier in my presentation, HDC has halal consultancy. So obviously, when people talk about consultancy in halal, they always think about getting certification. But from our side, we go beyond that. We also help organization to set up, a reputable business operation that will enable you not just to be in the halal industry, but to penetrate your product to other sector or other countries market. So what do we do is that consultancy is one of the areas, advisory is one of the areas, but the other part is actually we provide trainings to empower and to develop expertise uh, in the halal sector, so that at the end of the day, we can create a sustainable halal professional that will help the company to sustain on its own without relying 100% on HDC. But of course, HDC can always be the one who support and facilitate the growth of the companies. So that's what we can do. In fact, just to share with everyone, currently we are working with international brands, and we are helping them to obtain their halal product. We are helping them to expand their product to other segment of the world. So that is actually what we do. Thank you.
Next question. What is HDC's perspective to grow halal industry? May I please invite Ms. Yusriana Muhammad Yusuf, Senior Manager of HDC, to answer this question.
Malaysia is known as a hub for halal industry and halal ecosystem due to our strong integrity compliance and halal certification. We acknowledge opportunities and growth potential in halal products and services, not only domestically but globally. Our aim is not only to increase certification. It is not about certification alone, but also to identify the key halal growth sectors, increase private participation and investment, creating jobs, and produce more local champions from small, medium companies in producing more premium halal products and services to fulfill domestic demand and export. Other strategy is actually for halal sectors are to encourage more entrepreneurs to come forward, to attract investment in the area of research and development, and also to foster intelligence and entrepreneurship. For example, like I've previously described on halal pharmaceuticals, we already identify initiative to attract investment in production of halal vaccine. So to realize this investment potential, the government needs to address policy related to the production of halal vaccine. For example, the capital investment assistance in the form of incentives. So this is where the intervention designed to speed up the commercialization or realization. So all the interventions that we already identify specifically be designed to address unique challenges faced by industry in order to further grow the halal segment.
How HDC plays the role in facilitate industry growth with other ministries and agencies and putting governance in place to facilitate implementation of initiatives under the roadmap. May I please invite Ms. Yusriana Muhammad Yusuf, Senior Manager of HDC, to answer this question.
So planning without rigorous implementation will not bring us far to produce result. 10% effort is expected for planning, but the bulk of the work is actually 90% effort shall be on the implementation. So that's why we established the sectoral working group, which we call it SWG, for each sector to oversee and facilitate the rollout of initiative identified in the roadmaps. So the SWGs consist of synergy and active participation from private sectors and public sectors. So any issues faced by the industry will be resolved within the SWG, where we track the progress, where we are, how far we are going to achieve the outcomes or objective. So that is where the SWG. On other part, HDC plays our Catholic role as facilitator, thought leader, industry mover across the halal ecosystem, which deliver the delivery of halal products and services to contribute to the overall socio-economic development, including increasing investment, trade expansion, achieving halal integrity, and creating jobs. Other than that, we also facilitate onboarding of industry players into halal economy and coordinating resolution of challenge faced by industry players within ministry and agencies. As described previously, HDC have many products and services. When we talk about the investment, to attract investment, we do have Halal Park. When we talk about the business and governance transformation, we have Halal consultancies and advisories. We talk about the importance of human capital. We have Halal training who do the upscaling and rescaling. We talk about how to market our products. We have B2B and B2C trading platform, which called Halal Integrated Platform. Not only that, when we say we are the facilitator of thought leader, industry mover, we need to inspire the information, information about halal industry globally. That is where we have halal knowledge centers, where we have data analytics, statistic, we have information, infographic, and many more. And also when we previously, before the COVID, we do have showcases of halal products. We can do it physically, but now we turn it out to become a digital augmented reality of showcase of halal products. We do it in terms of 3D platform. We call it Dash. This is similar. This is where we want to go together with the new era, the digital era. Not to forget about the SMEs, the small players. We want them to become the local champion. This is where we have the Halal SME internationalization. We work with multinational. We want all the SMEs to adhere to industry best practices by working with multinational. At the end of the day, become their vendor, the program called Halal Sourcing Partnership Program. And not to forget, just now when we talk about how we want to grow the halal industry, we are looking at also into the halal certification, how we want to increase the halal certification, increase the take-up of halal certification. This is where we know the industry may not understand totally or wholly in terms of the processes to apply for halal certification. We do have the halal assessment tools where the industry can actually gauge their readiness in terms of halal certification. This is what we call e-Reha. On top of that, just recently, last week, if I'm not mistaken, HDC and Bank Islam Berhad just launched 100 million ringgit for Go Halal Fund. This is to encourage more SMEs in Malaysia to embark into halal industry and to expand the halal market. The facility is to assist SMEs in a better coordinated and structured format, concentrating on improving capacity building.
Next question. How many restaurants and the food suppliers are now using the Sustainable Ingredient Supply Chain Solution? I would please like to invite Mr. Su Wei-ren, Business Director of Institute for Information Industry, to answer this question.
Thank you for the question. Over the last 1 year, we have over 30 vendors and over 350 restaurants join us, and over 180 are contracted, while the others are adjusting their menus and how they produce or procure. So they are in talks with us. As for the contracted or the restaurants which have this commitment and agree to work with us, they will procure green ingredients. They've promised they will do so in the future. As far as the vendors now, we have 30 vendors having a certain scale to join us, and they are using our phase 1 system to do their procurement. By the end of next year, we're looking to expand to 100 food suppliers and vendors. So now there are 30 vendors and 180 contracted restaurants. And next year, by the end of next year, we're looking to have more. Thank you.
Next question. Is this solution available for business partners overseas? I would like to please invite Mr. Su Wei-ren, Business Director of Institute for Information Industry, to answer this question.
Thank you for the question. To this question, currently, we are building a network, and we have this over 100 major food suppliers. We would like to connect them together into this network. And also, we are actively seeking international partners. So hopefully we can have a cross-border supply network. For example, Malaysia, if Malaysia could be integrated into the system, then for restaurants who would like to procure special ingredients that's very different from Taiwan, they can procure ingredients from Malaysia, and it will be very convenient for them to use this platform. For example, we are looking forward to this collaboration. This is a highly potential collaboration, and we can increase the pool of food ingredients for both countries working together in this and also across the border. So we can also do the adaptations for you to have your language.
How many items are there in the ingredient supply chain? Is it possible to connect the supply chain to halal ingredient sources and then make the service available to restaurants to buy? I would please like to invite Mr. Su Wei-ren, Business Director of Institute for Information Industry, to answer this question.
Currently, we have a green select process. In other words, this process will look at how the whole production process fits into our standards. We would like to thank Li Ren for they are the biggest organic supplier in Taiwan for their participation in our platform. They have over 140 outlets island-wide, and we have a lot of restaurants, over 250 restaurants joining the platform, as I mentioned. So there are 3,000 items that are being made available online. And now we're building them into one big database for this information platform. So this green select process is then integrated into this database. So in Taiwan, for the restaurant Li Ren and their members, there are over 500,000 members who can use this platform to do procurement. And for restaurants, they can do B2B procurement. So the platform can be used for business facing or consumer facing. And also it can be provided to consumers. So as I mentioned, over 3,000 items are entered into the platform already. Hopefully in the future, we can work together with Malaysia for halal certification. And not just halal, but also sustainable, for them to be green products for the whole process. And that'll be a great addition to our platform. Thank you.
The next question, where does the information platform get its resources from? May I please invite Mr. Tu Dingjie, Section Manager of Institute for Information Industry, to answer this question.
The primary source of information for the Common Information Platform is from the Console's Agri-Beta platform. I mentioned this project at the beginning of this presentation. With this project, information from the console was first gathered together and then integrated to deliver government agencies, third parties, farmers, etc. related information through an open API.
Who are the users of Food Safety Situation Room? May I please invite Mr. Du Dingjie, Section Manager of Institute for Information Industry, to answer this question.
In this presentation, I mentioned that if there are any food safety scandals, then the schools can use the platform to check the source of the food ingredients and which qualifications or certifications the food ingredients have. In a similar vein, if schools see that there are food safety scandals in certain cities or counties, they can go back and check if they have purchased anything from these areas. For example, if there are some food safety issues concerning eggs, I can see where do the eggs went and which cities and counties do they go to. I can see if I have any contaminated eggs or ingredients or 3L1Q on my food list. This can help schools to quickly identify unsafe foods and whether they have purchased them or not. If you're a regulator, you can use the information platform to see which food ingredient suppliers are the biggest suppliers to the schools, and perform a pesticide sampling check or confirmation to see that the biggest food providers are safe.
What is the direction of future development and who are the target users? May I please invite Mr. Du Dingjie, Section Manager of Institute for Information Industry, to answer this question.
For now, the project is to help people understand or check the quality of their food producers through 3L1Q certifications. This is currently available to schools. In the future, it can be provided to not just schools but also restaurants. In addition to 3L1Q, we hope that in the future, farmers that are not participating in qualification programs can still use an agricultural information web or application to see the information farming and management. We hope that the information can be also integrated into the platform. So people can, through the platform, understand the agricultural standards, qualifications, and regulations of the food products. So not just for the farmers to provide to his schools, they are also providing ingredients to restaurants and consumers. So later, the restaurants can also use the platform to understand the information needed. So they can learn the farmers' track records, and then the restaurants can be sure of the quality. And also the farmers will enjoy more trust because they are transparent on the platform. For example, if a farmer has a very good track record or owns an organic farm, then the information can be revealed and be available for people to see on the platform. So the farmers in the future can also provide information other than their certifications to the platform. And this also benefits consumers who are going to restaurants. We can use the ingredients platform to help the restaurants match or find farmers and providers with a good track record for food safety ingredients.
Due to the interest of time, we will conclude the Q&A session here. And before we close the forum today, we will play a short video to introduce the Taiwan Global Anti-COVID-19 Pavilion website launched by TAITRA. This website shares Taiwan's experience and expertise in fighting COVID-19 pandemic. You can also use this website to connect directly with Taiwan's enterprises, hospitals, and service providers that appeared in the video. We'd encourage industry leaders to share this website with people in need, both at home and abroad. Once again, we thank you all for your generous participation. And now please watch the video.
In the face of a worldwide pandemic, Taiwan has actively lent a helping hand to the world. Taiwan Global Anti-COVID-19 Pavilion. In this website, we've created an anti-epidemic products and solution providers section where you can find information about suppliers or any particular business solutions. This section will help you reach out to more than 2,000 Taiwanese companies who can aid in your fight against the pandemic. In these videos, companies and experts discuss the latest innovations to help combat the pandemic. In this section, we've put at your disposal the contact information of 20 Taiwanese top medical institutions. We also inform you about the main strategies used in Taiwan to effectively control and stop the spread of the virus. So please be sure to bookmark and share this website. And remember to follow us on Facebook for our latest updates.